Hello, in this video, I'm going to show you how to pull some analytical data for upcoming meetings or past meetings and how to email. So again, we've logged on to the Star Chapter site. We have the snapshot here. We can either use the tabs on the left-hand side of the screen to go to Meeting Manager. You also have the ability through the snapshot part to go to your Meeting Manager from here. All the same thing. It leads you to the list of meetings page. Now, for the purposes of what we're doing today, we're going to work with the March meeting information. As you can see, you can pull the registration information. That will give you some baseline information, but what you really want are your reports, where you have your meeting registration details, your meeting summaries, transaction details. These are the things that some people might find particularly interesting depending on what you're looking for. And this is also where you would send an email. Now, you can go on the left-hand side of the screen to your email manager, just do that right now, and create, a meeting email from one of these pages. I find that that's a more complicated thing because then you have to match it up. You have to pray that you're using the right template so that Star Chapter doesn't have a hissy fit. I find it's just easier. Go into your meeting manager, work with the meeting that you're working with, and then that way all of the links are linked up appropriately, and then that way you don't have any sort of like dead links at the end of the process. Okay, so diving right in, we're going to click email. You can send your email now. You can schedule emails for later. If you schedule emails for later, it's going to email based on what you're hoping that it's going to email based on the content that is currently in the system, so that if you've gone and updated the website for any reason with, let's say, new vendor info, it's going to email that future mailing with that information you've uploaded. That doesn't always work. So I find that just sending, emails now, best course of action. But again, you can play with it and see, if you can get it to work better for you. Now, the first thing you're going to encounter are your meeting type, template, and meeting. So the meeting, obviously, it's going to pull live meetings. You want to click on March right there. I use the meeting template right here. It doesn't give you an option for a different type of template, but in that other screen where I showed you, where you go through the content part of the screen and you go through those back screens, that's going to show you different templates. So again, you're hoping that you're using the right template in one of those screens. Just don't, fuss with it unless you spend a lot of time with it. Just go straight to the meeting and create an email from the meeting. And you can leave all of this as is. It all works. Okay. The next page that you're going to come onto is the actual body of the email. This is going to be your subject line, the way that people are going to see it. Now, this is always the default meeting announcement, very dry. But I like to create something catchy. So, March meeting, now live. Oh, if I can spell, grab your seat today or something like that. Next up, important, reply to email. You can change that. You can change that to Kelly. You can change that to me. You can change that to anyone else on the team that may need to get that information more quickly than sort of your standard email. This goes to the president, so this is going to go to Erica if somebody has any questions or comments. It should always go to the DC NACE president email box unless there's a good reason, unless there's a valid reason that it goes to someone else. We cannot default and have all meetings going to the same alternate person. And again, that's just an issue of communication. You just want to make sure that we're always streamlined in how we reach out to people. We don't want it to appear spammy. We don't want people to get their emails blocked, that sort of thing. So again, just kind of, leave it with this email unless there's a good reason that we need to switch the email. And when you go here, this is the fun stuff right here. So this is going to show you what that email is going to look like. It has, because we've selected the template, it has the directions. We can get directions. You can register now, and has all the date and info. Here we can go ahead and select, alter the image. We can make that a little bit larger. I like to do that. I don't know why it doesn't default this way. It just does. And you can play with it. You can, add and delete things as you see fit. Click next. And here is where you can insert a file. If for whatever reason, let's say we're doing an awards and you need to, going back to when I was talking about flipping that email for the response to, let's say we're doing a rewards or a call for awards. If we have